We're going to look at how to perform a gearbox pressure test on an outboard engine lower unit. This is the same for pretty much nearly every single engine and outdrive unit. So we're going to look at how we're going to do it and what tools we need to do it as well. So looking at tools, we only need a small selection of tools here to perform the gearbox pressure test. While carrying out the pressure test, we'll also be changing the oil, because to do the pressure test we need to drop the oil. So over here we've got a Quicksilver gear pump kit. This comes with the metric adapter, and the other end is the imperial thread. Over here we've got the lube oil bottle. Normally this doesn't come with the pump. Some of them do, most of them don't. If it doesn't, you need this kit, and this adapter comes in very handy because this allows you to do the metric thread engines. Pretty much all the gearbox lower units are either this metric thread or the imperial. If they're not and it's an in-between, you can just sort of hold it on. You might lose a bit of oil, but you get away with it. A screwdriver or similar for the plugs on the gearbox. Evinrudes sometimes have like a hex head. Sometimes if they're really stuck and the screwdriver is not good enough, I've got an impact driver here. So what you do is you select the tightest fit. Normally it's one of these slotted drives, and then you strike it with a hammer on when you have it set to loosen, and it pretty much will come out. Obviously, I'll talk later on, we always take off the top plug first, the vent on the gearbox lower unit. We don't do the bottom, because if we take the bottom one out, then we're in a bit of trouble. For doing the pressure test, we have this hand vacuum pump. This measures in PSI and in inches of mercury. It's got, like I say, it's got pressure and vacuum. I normally would test to about 10 PSI on pressure and vacuum. So coming over to the engine to do this, what we're looking for down the bottom here, nearly every engine's the same. We've got a plug, and it says up here oil level, and down there we've got one that says oil, and that's the drain. So what we'll do, we will remove the top plug first. That ensures, because obviously the oil comes at the bottom, that when we come to refill it, we can refill it, because otherwise we can't evacuate the air out the gearbox, so we'll never get the oil in. So always take the top plug out first and then the bottom. Never the bottom then the top, because if you can't get that top one out, you're pretty much buggered. There is a way of doing it, but it's very complicated. You've almost got to turn the engine on its side or upside down and use a very small like straw or a syringe to inject the oil in. It'll take you all day. So always take the top one out first, and then the bottom one. You will have little sort of felt washers or O-rings to change as well. Now while that is draining out, if you're not sure whether there's water in that oil or not, you can do what's called a crackle test. So if you've got a hot ring, or I suppose you could use a frying pan, I suppose, if you've got a gas burner, get the ring hot or the pan nice and hot, and then just drop a bit of that oil onto the hot ring. If it crackles, it's because there's water in there, and the water boils out and it sort of splatters and whatever. If it just burns, smokes, and there's no sound to it, then I would say you're pretty good that you've just got oil there. But if you're hearing like an audible crackling, as water hits a pan normally, that's a sign that there is moisture in there or water in there. So just be aware of that. Now as well, on these plugs, these are just normal plugs. But some of the bigger engines, like the Evinrudes and some Mercuries, they do have a magnet. The magnet's obviously on the lower one because it just collects any of this. In here you've got your forward and reverse, and it's a dog clutch, so when they engage, you hear that grind. That's the gears coming together. So you do get a bit of spall, a bit of metal filings and all that. And all the magnets do on those plugs is just collect it. Also, when you pull it out, so you've obviously got all the metal, but you can also see the condition. The oil's drained out, and I've put the bottom plug in, and this thread is metric, so I put the metric adapter on, and we've got the pressure tester here. So there's the oil, it's all drained out. Now, sometimes it can look like it's emulsified, but it also can be aerated. The oil does resist sort of aeration, but there is really fine bubbles in this. It does. I'm not disputing the fact that this might be a bit milky. I'm not sure on the seals on this engine. Like I say, I have changed this oil relatively recently, but I'm not 100% sure that the seals are holding. So it's worth it's worth just a bit of further investigation, and we'll do this pressure test and the vacuum, and this will sort of give us a good idea. So what we'll do now is I'll set this to either pressure or vacuum, I can't remember which one's which. We'll pump the gauge till we get to about 10 psi. That's a good ballpark figure. If you've got the service manual, it might give you the actual specific test procedure. It might say 15, 20 psi, but normally it's quite a low pressure, like 10 psi in that box is more than enough. And then we're going to hold the pressure for say a minute, and we're looking to make sure the pressure doesn't drop or the vacuum come back to zero. So I'll go ahead now and I'll pump this up, and we'll wait the minute and see what happens. So I've got it connected there, and I'll just demonstrate there. We're just pumping it up using the hand pump. Just over 10 psi there. So on that gauge there, we'll wait about a minute, and hopefully it doesn't creep back. And that just ensures that on the pressure side, because obviously on each shaft you've got the drive shaft, prop shaft, and the gear selector, you've got a back-to-back lip seal holding water out and oil in. On this pressure test, we're doing the this is the internal seals holding the oil in, and then when we do the vacuum, that'll be testing the lip seals for the water. So with that done, we're just going to pump the other way now, and we'll get this under vacuum at -10 psi, and that'll test the other lip seals. There we go on the gauge. We're at -10. So again, we'll just hold that, and hopefully we won't see any shift in the gauge itself. Once that's done, that confirms that all of the lip seals are fine. We can go ahead, remove the bottom plug. We can then fit the oil pump here, pump it up till we see oil coming out the top. We'll put the plug in, which creates a partial vacuum. We'll remove the oil filler, put that plug in, and that's us done. Like I say now, I've got the plugs. We're going to before I put these back in my box of spare parts here. I've got 2 new seals, so I'll take these off. They're a bit stuck on, and then get them fit. And like I say, we'll then redo the oil, pump the oil back in. I'm not going to show you that because that's a separate video, and I've done plenty of gearbox pumping the oil back up. But that was basically how we pressure test the gearbox. We're doing the vacuum and the pressure, doing it from the top, just so we don't get oil in. So as always, if you've enjoyed that video, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. And lastly, if you've got any queries or questions on that, just leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Thanks for watching.